happy today. My name is Carrie. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Carrie May, and my blog is at Space for the Butterflies. So welcome to the first inaugural Space for the Butterflies knitting and some other crafty things sort of a podcast. If you're entirely new to my channel, welcome. Welcome to my little home on the internet from my house in the very middle of England, about as far away from the sea as it's possible to get. If you follow me somewhere else before, welcome as well. If you've seen other videos on my channel, they are mostly of my children, which is lovely. But I thought I'd try a slightly different route and talk about knitting, which is, after all, one of my first loves. I liked knitting before the children. Don't tell the children that. So I thought I'd start today by telling you what I'm wearing. If you followed my blog, then you'll have seen this because I knit it last summer when we were living in a tent. It's a long story. This is the Waking Tide pullover by Courtney Spainhower. I think I pronounced that right, but I'll try and put it on the screen somewhere. And it's in Spud and Chloe sweater in a wonderful colour called Firecracker. I think it's being a little bit blown out by the camera. If I sort of do a shimmy shake, you can see it a little bit better. It's the most gorgeous colour of burnt orange. It's one of my absolute favourite colours, which is horribly evident from lots of things I knit. And the yarn actually came from a shop in Paris, which is a little bit of a long way to go for yarn, but we were on our way back from a camping trip in Germany, so it made sense. It sat in the stash for a little bit, and then this summer I thought, you know what, I'm going to knit it, and this is the pattern I chose. I have been wearing it not quite non-stop since, but certainly in the winter when it got really, really cold. It's so warm and cuddly, and it's just a big baggy cosy jumper, and I absolutely love it. So that was what I knit then. What have I been knitting recently? Lots of little things, literally lots of little things. We went to my in-laws for the Easter holidays, and they do a massive Easter egg hunt in their garden for my children. And there's a limit to how much chocolate you can put into a child without negative results. So we decided instead that rather than giving the children chocolate Easter eggs ourselves, they each got a little egg-shaped beeswax candle, and I gave in to their pleading, and I knit them socks. They've actually been asking for socks for a really long time, but their feet keep growing, so I keep saying, no, I'm not doing it till your feet stop growing. Anyway, I caved. So, this was the first pair. Hold it up close. This is Devon Sun Yarns sock yarn in Tropical Rainbow, which came from Yarndale. Yes, I went all the way to Yorkshire and bought yarn that came from Devon. I'm from Devon originally. I'm true to my roots, even when I'm in Yorkshire. Anyway, so I have 3 children, if you didn't know. I have a daughter who's 7, a daughter who's 5, and a son who's 3. So this is for the 5-year-old. She has size 10 feet, so they're very dinky. They were knit on 2.5mm needles, 48 stitches for her. The next pair, also Tropical Rainbow, but now with the added heels, toes and cuffs. So this is still Tropical Rainbow, and this is Wolmeisse in Babe, but it's not their twin. The reason we know this is that I've already repaired the toe once, and now I've got to do the heel. This is some yarn I knit her a cardigan out of it, and I just had some leftovers, so thought we'd give it a whirl for some socks. I knew it wasn't really strong enough for socks. I didn't think she was quite as hard on her socks as she apparently is. I also think that her feet have probably grown since the last time I measured them. I did measure them just before I knit these, but she's 7. She's 7, she wears age 12 clothes, and she has size 3 feet. I mean, I'm 6 foot tall, this shouldn't be a surprise. But anyway, I think I will probably take this heel out and put a heel in Tropical Rainbow, because that seems to be wearing up, holding up a little bit better. And then, last but by no means least, the tiny boy didn't get Tropical Rainbow, there wasn't enough. One of these things is not like the other. This is leftovers from some yarn. I knit myself some socks in these yonks ago, and I found it lurking in the stash. I really thought I had enough left when I looked at this to get out 2 socks. Clearly I didn't, because this changes its mind and is something else opal. They're both opal. I really, really don't know what they are. Except that I think I made my brother-in-law a pair of socks that look like this. And I had the pair of socks that look like that. He loves them. He's 3. He really doesn't mind. He also has size 10 feet because he's going to be a giant. So for him, and also I tried these on them when they were asleep in bed at night to make sure everything fit. So for his socks, I started with a 54 stitch rib and then decreased at the end of the rib to go down to 48 stitches, just because he's got quite chunky little calves. And that's it. If you heard noises off going, "I'm a gymnast, Daddy," that is the man himself. So there we are. That's what I finished recently. That's quite a lot of knitting for me. Mostly I knit on the trains, going to and from work. So I did all of those completely stealth. The children never saw them when they were knitting. If I'm knitting them a jumper or a cardigan, they tend to see it as it's going along because I just don't have enough knitting time that I can hide it from them. And even when I do try and hide it from them, they then sort of turn up in the middle of the evening going, "I'm awake, Mummy," and I'm going, "I'll hide it under the cushions, quickly, don't notice." But they didn't see those. Those were a big surprise and they were all very excited about it. They all put them on Easter morning. The girls wore them all day for Easter Day. They wouldn't wear their tights to go with their nice Easter dresses, they wore their socks. My little boy, he put them on for the morning with his pyjamas, and then when we went to get dressed, I said, "You're going to keep wearing your nice mummy knit socks?" And he said, "No, I want to wear those socks," and pointed at some stripy ones with monster faces on. They had monster faces, I can kind of understand it. Only after we were finishing pulling up the second sock on him did he go, "But I do like yours a little bit, Mummy." Thank you. I'm so glad I knitted them for you, boy. Ah, well, this is why you don't knit for 3-year-olds and expect them to appreciate it. You knit for 3-year-olds because you love the 3-year-old and you love the knitting. This is how it goes. So, that is what I knit. What I'm working on at the moment, or what I'm working on and remembered to bring upstairs, which are 2 different categories. Right. First one, a bit of knitting. This is, well, perhaps I should backtrack slightly. My Christmas present, one of my Christmas presents from the kids was membership to Kate Davies' West Highland Way Club. If you've never heard of Kate Davies' designs, you have been living under a knitting rock. Get thee to Ravelry and discover her, because her patterns are just beautiful. And then she writes these gorgeous essays that go with it, and then her husband takes the most beautiful photographs, and you're just like, I want to spend a day in your life. It's so pretty. I want to live there. I do actually want to walk the West Highland Way. That is one of my long-term ambitions, but the children need to be bigger because at the moment they clearly have very little legs. So we will keep brainwashing them and training them up. Eventually we'll get there. I want to walk the West Highland Way, I want to walk coast to coast. Both of those, the children need to be bigger. Anyway, I digress. So West Highland Way all the way through the spring. I think the last pattern was only released just before Easter. Yeah, because the club finished on the 1st of April. So all the way through from the start of January to April, every week. On Wednesday we got a pattern, and on Friday we got an essay about the place that inspired it. By 2 weeks in, my knitting to-do list had sort of, it was just everything I wanted to knit. It did calm down slightly towards the end. I thought not everything would exactly suit me, but certainly the beginning things. So I knit the Craig Galligan hat. That was my dad's birthday present. And then, I'm going to try and say it right, Coinneach. Apparently it's like cognac without saying the k on the end of it, so Coinneach. This is the start of it. It's so yeah, so this is my big blue, although we do have some very beautiful colour work ribbing at the bottom of it. So yeah, so Coinneach, it's like cognac without the k on the end of it, so Coinneach. It's Gaelic. I'm from Devon. I'm a very long way away from Gaelic. Anyway, the original pattern, which I will try and put a photograph in if it appears here. Wonderful. If it doesn't, know that my technical abilities failed me, but I really did try. So the original pattern is knit out of Kate Davies' new yarn, which is Milrocchy Tweed, which is the yarn you can see in the colours. Oh. There we are. The camera's blowing them out a little bit. They're actually a little bit stronger than that. They are all beautiful, beautiful colours. I would happily knit a sweater just in Milrocchy Tweed, with the only one slight hitch, which is I find mohair really, really itchy, and it's got a mohair content. It's so soft to knit. I love knitting it. I did a hat for my dad, and that was in the Milrocchy Tweed, and it was gorgeous and so soft, and I thought, oh, I wish I could keep it. And I put it on for like 2 minutes, and I was doing the scratching thing across my forehead, and thought, no, I have to love this and admire it from a distance. So with this one, the body of this is Jamiesons of Shetland Spindrift in Sky, and you can see these lovely, this beautiful blue marley sort of colour. It's reading a little bit grey purple. It's a grey blue, but it's not really a purpley blue. So what I thought I could get away with is if I do the colourwork in the Milrocchy Tweed. That's all, there's lots of big, almost boho style sort of geometric patterns on the yoke. And I figure the yoke, I'm going to be wearing a shirt underneath, so I'll probably be alright on that. And it'll be nice and snuggly, so I'll probably be wearing a sizable shirt because it'll be the winter. And I can probably get away with it on the ribbing, and then most of it is Jamiesons of Shetland. It's a very, is rustic the technical term? It's not the softest wool you've ever come across in the world, but it does soften up a lot when I block it. I did a few swatches on this, and when you block it and give it a really good soak, it does go a little bit softer. It's not, you know, like John Arbon Knit by Numbers, I think it's like knitting with a cloud. I'm wearing a cloud. I will definitely be buying a sweater quantity of that when I go to Yarndale this year. This, it isn't, but it is lovely and warm, and it's very wearable, so I don't mind it having a little bit of tooth. So that is one thing I'm knitting on. I'm clearly still at the really interesting going round and round a circle stage. It's on 3.25mm needles. It's a 4-ply yarn, or fingering weight for Americans. There's quite a lot of me. I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm not a stick insect. So going round and round will take a little while. But it's quite nice knitting to have when I actually want to watch what's going on the television. I've been watching a lot of Commonwealth Games. There is some gymnastics involved in this. The gymnastics from the Commonwealth Games will keep you on the edge of your seat, and you definitely need television knitting for that one. So that is one project I'm knitting. The other project is over here, and that came from Yarndale. Jem Weston had possibly the most beautiful stand at Yarndale. It was all blues and golds and oranges. It was all of my favourite colours put in a stand. I'm pretty sure I'll link my Yarndale video, hopefully, in the box below. And in my Yarndale video, I'm certain there's a shot of her stand because I just kept coming back. And she had this Moody Blues blanket. The idea is you knit a stripe depending on your mood in any given day, and there's a square for each week, and then you sew them all together and you've got a blanket. I just kept coming back to it and coming back to it and coming back to it. I kept thinking, I don't need another knitted blanket. I'm doing a big crochet blanket. I've done a Norrow blanket. We don't need any more blankets. I make quilts. And I just kept coming back and coming back. And I was with John's aunt, and she said, "No, you've been back to it so many times." It's like, yes, we'll have to go past on the way out to the car. I have to go get that. So I did. And 2 squares in, I was completely hooked. So the blanket at the moment looks like this. I can't see the camera anymore, so I've no idea if this is all in shot. But we're a 4x4 square at the moment. Yellow is the happiest days. Turquoise is happy days. Pale grey is, it's alright kind of a day. This tealy colour is, that wasn't a great day. And this is, I had to take my daughter to hospital day. I'm a fairly happy person apparently. So that's good. So those are the squares as made up so far. And then it actually had a little pause. Not really intentionally, I just got busy and I fell behind and I forgot what colours the days were. And I thought I'll just leave it and catch up later. So I have one square already finished, and I'm currently working on this week's square, which has been my travelling knitting this week, having finished the socks. Now, I have seen on other knitting podcasts that people make much out of the bags in which they keep their knitting. Mine tends to live in my handbag or in a big tote bag, so that's not quite so exciting. But this is one of my distinct knitting bags. The comedy behind it, I got this at Knit Nation, and it wasn't even the second Knit Nation, it was the first Knit Nation. So this is nearly 8 years old and it's still going strong. And it is by Zigzag Stitches. Oh, can you see that? My hand behind it. Zigzag and then Stitches, who are still going strong. I'm thrilled, they're still on Etsy. I think it's brilliant. Anyway, this is small and cute and has sheep on it, and it fits nicely in my handbag. So this has been a little bit so far. I'm still 4 or 5 days behind on this. Sometimes I have to stand on the train, then I don't get to knit. So I need to do a bit of catching up on that one. But I am trying to push ahead with it. I don't know quite when I'll finish it. And then I need to work out how to border. So possibly, it's going to be for my son. It'll go in his bedroom and be on the end of his bed to snuggle up under. And his birthday's in August. So that's a very doable deadline. I've got another 4, possibly another 8 squares to go. I think definitely another 8 squares to go. I've still got plenty of yarn. Probably by the end of it, my days and moods, it'll be just like, what have I got something left of? And then hopefully I'll have something left enough even just to go around the edge with a bit of single crochet for some structure. But we will see when we get to that point. So for now, it lives in a big box. This is the rattling noise. I'll show you it in a minute. There we are. See? Big box. So those are what I've been knitting on. But I did say at the beginning, this is a knitting and other sorts of crafty things podcast. Because if nothing else, the shelves behind you, which badly need organising. They were beautifully organised. And then we had to take the shelving out of my room to put some new pipes in for a new boiler or something. And they all got higgledy-piggledy and I haven't got around to sorting them out again. But anyway, as you can see, we've got fabric and embroidery and lots more yarn, and there's a spinning wheel in the background. So yes, I've never met a craft I didn't like. I'm better at some of them than others, but I like them all. So yes, my other craft at the moment, I have been doing some embroidery. I actually haven't embroidered that one, I haven't started. So if we take it out of the hoop. The gymnastics got too exciting to continue with the embroidery. But if I take it out of the hoop, I can show you what I've done so far. So there we go. It's really pretty. This is another project from the stash, as it were. This is designed by Alicia Paulson, who writes Posy Gets Cozy. And I think this could be 8 years old. Or some more. Some more is very possible. I'm trying to remember now. It could be less than 8 years old. It could be when I had a very small baby. Anyway, the wool is Appleton's tapestry wool. See, I'm still working with wool. And my sister, I remember my sister got me that as a Christmas present. And then I ordered this lovely, I hold you this bit up, you can see it's screen printed. So I ordered the screen printed fabric. So that came over from America, but obviously the wool came from England because that's where it's made. Or distributed anyway. But yes, I just think it's so pretty. And when it's finally finished, which actually not that long to go. I started this at Christmas and then it got put down for a bit. And then I really picked it up over Easter. So at the start of the Easter holidays I was on G and I've done all the rest of it since. So there's a little bit more to go. Well, 5 more letters to go. And when those letters are finished, and when it's pressed and not looking quite so scrumpled, I'm going to get it framed, and then it's the right kind of colours to go in my girls' bedroom. They've got that kind of tealy, bluey, greeny coloured walls. I think their walls are officially called Peppermint Beach, so there you go. And then they've got pinks and yellows and things like that, so it'll look really good in there. So that is the plan for that. A little bit more embroidery to go. And last but by no means least, I thought I'd tell you what I've been reading in knitting book sense. I read fairly voraciously. My mother used to say I devoured books. I think that was largely because by the time we got back from the library, when I lived in Devon, I'd usually already read 1 or 2 of the books that I'd borrowed. I used to get through quite a lot and have to borrow their tickets. And then read the ones my sister had got, things like that. Anyway, I have been reading Alice Starmore's book of Fair Isle Knitting, which I've had for a while. It's a reread, this isn't a new read. It's really an interesting one. There's this really interesting, I'll see if I can show you it. There's a really interesting bit of a history of Shetland at the very beginning, including the history particularly of Fair Isle, and obviously famous picture of the Prince of Wales and how it all came about. But then she goes on into colour theory and patterns, and many, many, many more patterns, and patterns with colour. The actual patterns themselves, like the knitting patterns at the end of it, are, I think the polite phrase might be slightly dated. It's very, very natty. Not quite my style. and the same, but you know, you look at something like that one. So the style of jumper, I'm not going to wear something like that. I would look like I'd fallen out of the 80s, which is, I think, when this book was originally written. But the colours in it are beautiful. And I could definitely see, you know, you could take a line of that pattern and turn it into a yoke jumper and you'd be absolutely stunning. Which will, of course, happen, you know, in one of the many, many spare hours I have. One day. So many things in one day. But yeah, it makes for a really interesting read. You know, Alice Starmore, she clearly knows her stuff about colourwork knitting and she knows her stuff about colour theory. So it makes for a good read. So there we are. I'd recommend it if you're interested in colourwork. It's one of my favourites in my somewhat extensive colourwork library. So there we are. I think I've reached the end of everything I had to talk about. I'll check the list. Yes. I have achieved everything. So thank you for bearing with me. If you are still with me all the way to the end, thank you very, very much. I'm a little bit nervous about sitting down and doing this, but I do quite enjoy it. And I've wanted to be involved in making videos and things like that for a while. So this will not be the last one. I don't know exactly how often I'm going to do these videos. I might try for every couple of weeks, it might turn out to be every month. It largely depends on, to a degree, my real life job. My real life job has a habit of suddenly getting insanely busy and everything stops. And all I do is the job. And then we hope it calms down again. Sometimes it doesn't. So yes, hopefully every 2 weeks, if not then certainly monthly. But if you click on the subscribe button, which will be somewhere around the edge of the screen, I don't exactly know where, then you will get told about it, or it'll pop up in your feed when I do get around to doing another video. Also, please give me a thumbs up just to tell me you were here, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.